Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home. Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show. I'm so happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and I'm super psyched about today's topic because I do not know an emotional eater around the globe who can't relate to this topic. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Now, first of all, I have to just say, if you're here for the first time, welcome. Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show. Woohoo, you made it. Great stuff. You know, this is where you come when you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you have been on that weight loss merry-go-round forever. You've tried the diets, you've tried all the different machinations to lose weight and curb your eating and get rid of the things that you ate. And it's a whole lot of craziness. And here's where you come, take a deep breath, settle in, and just be home. Just be home here at the Heal Your Hunger Show, because this is where we talk about how to overcome that craziness. You know, the problem is not food or weight. The problem goes deeper. And here on this show, we go deeper together. So I'm so happy you're here. If you haven't joined us yet in the Facebook group, please join us. Go to Facebook and type in Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating and ask to join, and we'd love to have you. And that's where I record this show most episodes. So yeah, so you can actually comment, you can watch it live, hot off the press as it's happening even, and or go back and watch later, and just, you know, be amongst other emotional eaters, because this is not an easy journey. Most of us have been struggling with this problem forever. And, you know, it's time to stop the dieting roller coaster ride. It's time to, you know, drop into our hearts, go deeper, and deal with the underlying causes. That's where you're going to have lasting weight loss, and you will have peace with food. So really glad that you're here. Also, if you know, you hear me talking about emotional eating, but you're not sure if that's something that describes you, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm an emotional eater. You can actually take a quiz and find out. So you can go to healyourhunger.com. I invite you to go to healyourhunger.com and take the free quiz. Just find out your score. You're going to get a personalized score, and then also a to-do list based on your score. Not a hard to-do list that's going to add more stress to your life, but just some, you know, some things that will help you really get on the right track in terms of really making peace with food and with your weight. So on with the show. So this topic of longing to be the weight that we used to hate, you know, this is something I hear about over and over from just about every person I talk to who is, you know, exploring what to do about, you know, really achieving lasting weight loss. And when I get to talk to somebody who's on that trip and asking the right questions and signing up for, you know, a complimentary call with me so we can talk about it, I love talking to these women. First of all, it's just so like spiritually and emotionally nourishing for me. But I love it because I get to hear some of those things that I used to feel. Okay. So, you know, it just brings me back home to what it was like for me when I was struggling with food and weight. And the struggle is real. I get it. So, you know, are you somebody who looks back on, you know, former times, former decades, and you say to yourself, oh my God, like, what was I beefing about? Like, I looked great back then. Like, maybe you're looking at a picture book, you know, memories or whatever, and you're like, wow, I thought I was so fat, but I looked great, you know, or a whole lot better than I feel right now. What was my problem? And gosh, I wish I were that weight now. This is what I hear over and over when I get to have these conversations with women all around the world. Like, it doesn't matter where they're from. You know, it seems to be a universal feeling for emotional eaters that there were times when we were a weight we were dissatisfied with, but now we've gained weight, and sometimes a whole lot more weight. And we look back and we're like, God, I would do anything to be that size, the size I used to be dissatisfied with. So I often have said this and marveled at this phenomenon, where I just, I would long to be the weight that I used to hate, because it was a whole lot better than where I ended up. And the thing about being an emotional eater is that it is a progressive condition. So I often say it doesn't get up and go away on its own. So guess what? If you're like, oh, it's a phase, or, unfortunately, I talk to so many people who have an element of denial where they're not willing to join a program. If I talk to them about my program, they're hesitant, they're afraid, they have this stubborn voice of, I'm going to figure it out myself, and they keep doing it alone. They don't get on board with a program that can really help them, and they keep stumbling and struggling, and things get worse, and it will get worse. So this is a condition. Emotional eating, it's a thing, okay? And you might not be at the point right now where you get that it's a thing, but it's a thing. And you could substitute emotional eating for food addiction if it's something that's really chronic for you, and it's something you've battled for a long time. If you take that quiz, that emotional eating quiz on my website, healyourhunger.com, you'll find out where you are on the spectrum of emotional eating or food addiction. The high end is food addiction. That's where I was. But regardless of what you call it, eating disorder, disordered eating, food addiction, emotional eating, these are words, but they all describe basically the same thing, which is this chronic struggle with food and weight. If you have that struggle, I promise you, you will not wake up one day and have it, be free from it. You will not wake up and be free from it. It will not get up and walk away on its own. It requires that you address it, okay? And head on, not wishing, not by going on another diet. Remember, 98% of all diets fail. So this thing will progress, and it will take more and more from you. It will rob you of your happiness. It will rob you of intimacy with your spouse. It will rob you of self-confidence, self-satisfaction, self-esteem, self-love. I mean, it is a thief. It's a thief, and it will rob you if you don't address it, okay? So whatever denial you have, I'm here to be that little, birdie on your shoulder that says it's not going away on its own. You'd better do something. You'd better do something. And I promise you, a diet is not the something that you need, because it's dismal, how few people actually lose weight and keep it off if they're emotional eaters, and they go on a diet. So this problem's not going away, which means it's progressive. And what that means is that if you don't address it, it will get worse. And if you're somebody who gains weight, and if that's a manifestation of being an emotional eater, if your metabolism is not speedy fast, and mine never was, and you gain weight easily like I did, guess what? Year after year, you will put on more pounds. And you will be having that experience of looking back, on 10 years earlier, 5 years earlier, 20 years earlier, and being like, wow, I wish I were that weight, because I've gained more now. And, God, I would do anything to be that weight right now. I promise I'll be happy about it. I promise I won't complain. Just, make me 150, because 250 sucks. Okay. So, that's what I hear from so many women, is that, they were unhappy with their weight many, many years prior, but it's gotten worse. It's gotten progressively worse, as it does. It doesn't get up and walk away on its own. So I want to talk about this issue, because I think it's really important, that we stop hating our weight. Stop hating your weight, which is not easy to do, because hating our weight, hating our bodies, taking issue with what we got, and where we're at, is a function of being an emotional eater. Okay. It's actually a mindset. It's a way of thinking that is endemic to emotional eaters, or anybody with disordered eating. Okay, again, these are, to me, they're pretty interchangeable words, these labels. But it's part of the deal. And I really want to put a spotlight on this, because if you are hating your weight, first of all, have you ever had the experience of looking at pictures and being like, oh my God, I wasn't even overweight? Like I hated my thighs at the time. I hated my stomach. I thought I was fatter than my girlfriends. Have you ever looked back at those photos and being like, I am seriously demented? Like I wasn't even fat. What was I thinking? Well, that's a function of being an emotional eater, where no matter what our weight is, we're dissatisfied. Okay, so it's not even based on reality. Like a lot of the time we aren't fat. And I've had the same thing where I was convinced I was overweight. And I look back at photos from my childhood. I started to gain weight in adolescence. That's when I really started to pack it on. That's when my face was like a complete circle, like a pumpkin. And I look back, and I see, it was bad. I've got some bad pictures. I actually just had a birthday party and I brought my little picture book of pictures over the span of my life. And definitely when I hit adolescence, 13, 14 years old, I blew up like a balloon. But before that, I have pictures of me in 4th grade, 5th grade, or so. And I look back and I was not overweight. I was normal. I was a normal kid. But I'll tell you, as far back as I can remember, I hated my weight. So those pictures where I'm a normal kid size, I'm not overweight, I'm not a beanstalk, but I'm not overweight, I'm normal. Quote normal, what's that? But I just look like a regular kid. I wouldn't say I had a weight problem. I thought I did. Okay, so I had fat head, okay? I had fat head where I believed I was overweight, and it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So being an emotional eater comes with a mindset. It comes with a way of thinking where we're critical of our bodies. We don't like our bodies. We're convinced we're fat. That's what fat head is, where we can't, it's body dysmorphia, if you want a fancy term for it, where we cannot adequately assess our body size. We're cuckoo, okay? We have cuckoo, our thinking's off, and we don't see ourselves clearly. And this is a function of being an emotional eater. And I have to tell you, it doesn't die easily, okay? I'm 32 years into this deal of healing, and I've been in recovery for a long time from this terrible affliction of emotional eating, and yet I still do struggle with it. And to me, it hangs on a long time. Now, it's not anything like it was. I don't hate my body anymore, but I definitely can get like where I can't see clearly in what my body looks like. And sometimes I'll think I'm fat, not fat literally, but like I'll feel bloated, and then or during PMS, I am bloated, I'm retaining a lot of water, and I feel like I'm a balloon. Like I feel like I'm 250 pounds, and I'm not. That's fat head. And it's hard. Like it's hard for emotional eaters to feel that, because it really drags us down and it becomes an obsession. So that whole thing, obsessing about our weight, thinking we're fat, being convinced that we're fat, being 100% preoccupied where we really can't think about a whole lot else, that goes along with being an emotional eater. And a lot of people don't realize that, because they think, no, it's because I'm fat that I'm thinking I'm fat. No, you're thinking you're fat, and then you become fat. So it kind of it works the opposite, and that thinking has to be addressed in and of itself, not just your body size, because I have been in a thin body, as I've just attested, I've been in a thin body and thought I was fat or felt fat. And so this is what we have to work with, is our thinking. And what we think on grows, okay? So the fact that I thought I was fat when I wasn't, I did create that. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it probably is for you too. Now, is that the only reason I gained weight? Because I was thinking I was fat? Of course not. I was overeating, I didn't just think my way into it. I thought my way and ate my way into it. But definitely our thoughts are so, so powerful. So thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. What we think on grows. That means that throughout my life, when I've been super obsessed with my ass, and I've checked my ass out in the mirror, I swear I should have whiplash for how many times I've looked behind in a mirror to check my weight, and see what my ass looked like. And women do it all the time. It's kind of like a thing. If you go to any public restroom, somebody's looking at their ass in the mirror. Guys, if you're listening, that's what's happening in the girls' room. But the thing is that we do create this, and we do exacerbate the problem by being obsessed with our bodies and thinking, is my ass big? Like, is my stomach big? Have I gained weight? When we're constantly obsessed with our weight, what we think on grows, and we do gain weight. And, that's why I really wanted to address this topic today. Also, the more effort I put into losing weight, my experience is the more it has eluded me. And that's why in my program, I don't focus on weight loss. Weight loss is a byproduct of what we focus on. What we focus on is dealing with the underlying causes. And as we do that, the byproduct is weight loss. But when I am focusing on losing weight, and when my clients focus on losing weight, it eludes them. Okay, it's the hardest thing. It's like putting your finger on a droplet of mercury. It just disperses. It's impossible. You can't nail it down, and you can't nail weight loss down when you're focusing on it. And okay, I'll give you that you might lose weight if you focus on losing weight, but did you keep it off? Probably not, because that focus on the symptom, first of all, is not going to get you where you need to go. You need to go deeper. But also, it's like putting all that will and effort in weight loss, just energetically, in my experience, if you're an emotional eater, it will cause you to miss the mark. Okay. It will elude you. And you've probably had that experience. So it's just really, really important that we start addressing this obsession with our body. And, I think I shared in a podcast a few episodes or one episode ago where I had gained a little weight over COVID. Okay. I got a little fluffy, a little soft and mushy. I stopped my exercise class because I couldn't go anymore, and they had it online, but I had no motivation to stand up in my, kitchen and do bar exercises. I just didn't have it. COVID was enough, and I didn't have it in me to do more. I need that class structure. I need community. In order to do anything hard, frankly, I need community. It's the way I roll. That's why my program is mostly a group program, because there's so much power. There's so much power and support in community. Together we can do what we can't do alone. And so that's why, I couldn't do my bar class once it was just me in my kitchen. So that was a problem, because I lost my strength, my muscles kind of atrophied. I got a little fluffy, and I was not liking my body. Like I wasn't feeling good about my body. And for a while I hadn't gained weight at all. I just lost the muscle. But because I lost the muscle, I was more doughy, and fluffy, and I just felt like I gained weight. So I did fulfill that prophecy when I started not liking how I was feeling and looking, and I did end up gaining a little bit of weight, and it became very uncomfortable because I don't like that. And the only reason I do what I do is because I hated being 50 pounds overweight. It was completely miserable for me. For some people, it's not. Like, some people don't even notice or care. I find that the people who make it to Heal Your Hunger do care. And I often tell them, I'll tell my clients, the fact that you care about being overweight, the fact that overeating and gaining weight bothers you is actually a blessing, because it's driven you here. It's driven you to do something about it. So, I call it divine discontent. When there's something that's just bugging us, we can't let it go. In this instance, our weight, there is a positive side to that, in that it will drive us to find a solution. It'll drive us to keep looking for a real solution. And thankfully, when people make it to me, that's what I try to offer them, by going deeper and dealing with the underlying causes and healing them, so they can have lasting weight loss. So it's really, really, for me, it's a struggle to have a good attitude about my weight if I don't like my weight. But my message here is don't hate your weight. So this is something I personally wanted to share about because I do some things to try to not hate my weight. And because I know hating my weight is only going to make matters worse. So what do? Well, when I was feeling a little doughy, from COVID, I tried to bless my body. I tried to focus on the strength of my body and the fact that I looked fine. Like I really did look fine. And frankly, even at 50 pounds overweight, I didn't look bad. I mean, I've always kind of carried weight pretty well. And not that I want any weight, don't give me any excess weight, God. But I focus on the fact that I look good, even if I'm feeling somewhat critical of my body. Okay. So I just try to focus on the fact that, hey, Trish, get over yourself. You look great, or at least you look fine. And I would focus on that. So I wouldn't lapse into this control mode. The last thing I want to do is try to control my weight because it'll go totally in the opposite direction if I do that. So I have a mantra and my clients know about this, and it is God's in charge of my weight and he's doing a great job. God's in charge of my weight and he's doing a great job. That's what I say over and over when I'm just lapsing into that dissatisfaction and criticism about my weight. Okay, I don't want to live there. I know how dangerous it is. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So God's in charge of my weight and he's doing a great job. And when I do that, when I throw the responsibility on God, and when I let God manage my weight, I let God determine what size I should be, it gets me out of control mode and managing mode. And that helps me a lot just to remember it's all in divine order. I'm not in charge. Does that mean I don't try to do things, to help myself? And no, I have to get honest. Like if I'm overeating, if I'm eating too much, if I'm doing some emotional eating because it's COVID and I'm kind of padding my food a little bit, drinking a little extra almond milk in this case for me, a little bit of extra almond milk adds up each day. So I had started to drink a little extra almond milk and 10 or 20 calories a day for me, when my body's sensitive, it was adding up. And I'm sure there are other places I was, I had started eating cheese again and I hadn't eaten cheese in several years. So, little places here and there, I was adding, I was padding and it was showing up on my body. So I had to get honest about that. I had to get honest about the fact that I was changing my diet a little bit, probably based on some emotional eating. And so, perceiving I needed a little bit extra. So I had to get honest about it and make some changes in my diet. But also the fact that I wasn't exercising anymore in the way that I was still walking and doing my walk pray, but I wasn't working out, if you will, in my exercise class. And so I didn't have the opportunity to tone my body. And my metabolism slowed down because the exercise, when I'm doing consistent harder exercise, it does speed up my metabolism. So I recognize that and I try to give myself a pass. I'm like, guess what? It's COVID. I'm not exercising as much. I don't have the strength to do the classes at home. It is what it is. And God's in charge of my body and he's doing a great job. I had to keep saying that. And I had to keep kind of looking at myself and affirming that I look fine. I look absolutely fine. Because as soon as I start hating my weight, I'm in trouble. I'm absolutely in trouble. Also, my weight is none of my business. This is something I learned from Roy many years ago. He used to say, my weight is none of my business. Like it's God's business. And that helps me so much to bring God into it and not make it all about my sense of control, which I don't have control. Like willpower, forget about it. So getting honest, affirming God's in charge, looking at the positive, not focusing on the negative. Remember, what we focus on grows. These all helped me. Recently, I started cycling with my new boyfriend, and it's been amazing. And I think it's kind of kicked up my metabolism a little bit. So I'm liking my body a little bit more. I'm feeling a little bit more toned. My heart's getting stronger. My body's stronger. It's been great. I've been able to focus on the beautiful aspects of my body, including, its strength and agility that I normally don't focus on, but I see it. And my boyfriend's super encouraging of me. And he's like blown away by, how strong I am. He thought I was going to be a total wimp because I kind of led him to believe I was. I'm like, don't expect me to go fast. Don't expect me to make it up a hill. I gave him a worst case scenario. So he's pleasantly surprised with how strong my body is. And so am I. So I'm focusing on that. So really changing your focus, focusing on the good qualities about your body is going to help so much. But the most important thing, my friends, is don't hate your weight. Don't hate your weight. Your body doesn't deserve that. Okay, your body's strong. Your body operates every day without your permission, and your heart beats, your blood flows, your immune system, kicks out the crap, and the toxins. It's like there's so much going on in our bodies that is so good and beautiful. We've got to focus on that. So watch your focus, watch out for a fat head and just thinking you're fat. I get how painful it is to look back at photos and wish you were that weight. I get that. But guess what? The weight you are now, if you hate your weight today, you could be looking back 1 year from now and wishing you were the weight that you are now, right? It's the law is still in effect. If you wish you had been grateful for your weight, at the weight that you used to wish that you now wish you had been, guess what? You're in that same position now. So today you've got to turn it around by appreciating the weight you are now. Otherwise, a year from now, you could be 100 pounds more, and sure as shit, it can happen, right? Or 50 pounds more, or 20 pounds more, or 10 pounds more, and wish you were the weight you are now. So today is all we have. This is the opportunity that's facing you right now. Instead of longing to be the weight you used to hate, use that as a lesson to love your weight now. Now, does that mean you need to be satisfied with your weight? Like you're going to just settle into it forever? No, it doesn't mean you don't still reach out, and do something that can help you lose the weight. Preferably not a diet, but going deeper and dealing with the underlying causes. But the point is that hating your weight is not going to get you there. You got to be at peace with yourself, but that doesn't mean don't try to change and don't aspire to be thinner. It's just this energetic booby trap of hating our weight. That's what has to change. So, work on the positive, work on giving it all to God. And work on a solution, work on a solution. Super, super important. We don't just do nothing, because that's not going to work. We're not going to be able to get our head right if we're continuing to overeat and just, live in misery. So I hope this is clear. This is my message for today. Don't hate your weight. Take constructive action, but stay in positivity about the good things about your body and the amazing things your body is doing for you, and what you focus on grows. I hope this has been helpful. I love you so much. We're in this together. I get the struggle. I've been there, and as you can hear, I still have to work on my own thoughts in order to be at peace. And it's a day at a time, but I'm very, very grateful for having found a solution. And I want that for you too. So reach out, love to be of service, and I will see you on the next show. Thanks so much. Be sure to join us in the Secret Sauce group, and please review this show on iTunes. It would be such a beautiful, beautiful gift. Take care. I love you.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.